Take down the CCP, take down the CCP, take down the CCP, 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 take down the 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 CCP, 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 take down the CCP, take down the CCP, take down the CCP.
Take down the CCP, take down the CCP. Follow me and I'ma set us free. Take down the CCP. Let me tell you what I've been through, baby. Lived a life that was hella unfair. Seen things that been driving me crazy. In a country where the leaders don't care. Didn't think we had the courage to change it. Tore it down and they weren't prepared. Everything that they kept us from saying. Now we talking and they better be scared. Take from us. Tell us what.
Now we're talking and they better be scared. That is the voice of a people yearning to be free. This is Lao Beijing and the Chinese people. Welcome back to War Room Pandemic. We're very honored to give you the signal, not the noise, to get Mars news today. That's why for years we've been talking about the infiltration of not just American society, but in the United Kingdom and the West of the Chinese Communist Party through their influence peddling and their money laundering and their money. And now Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, he's got a report out today. This is not the Minority Report of Jim Banks and McCarthy and the Republicans. This is the House Democratic Intelligence Committee putting out a report that is damning. It's damning. It's an American intelligence apparatus. Remember, Steve Bannon is the guy who says, hey, there's no conspiracy. There's no deep state. It's up in your grill. It's up in your grill, and it's totally incompetent. And you want to see its incompetence. Yes, Brennan, Clapper, Hayden, your incompetence, almost treasonous incompetence. There's going to be heads on pikes because of this. Trust me. You guys are a disgrace. It's a disgrace what's happened to this country. It's a total and absolute disgrace, and particularly the fact that you've used the apparatus to go after people that have called you out for years. You've put the United States in jeopardy. You put the free world in jeopardy. You put mankind in jeopardy. But most important, I think, the people in China that want to be free of these dictators, you've just buried them. You're an absolute and total disgrace. You've basically had the backs of some of the worst criminals since the Nazi Party in the 1930s. And it's totally to blame for you. Adam Schiff's new House report, we'll be going through this. They're now trying to cover themselves for it. Ain't going to happen. Just like the Transition Integrity Project, not going to happen. You got War Room Pandemic. We're going to field strip everything. You can whine, you can complain, you can cry, but we're going to be relentless. One of the great things about what's happening with the Chinese people, because the reason this show is so powerful is we combine the deplorables in the United States with Lao Beijing in mainland China and the people that have left China that are yearning to be free. The amazing thing is this, the whistleblower movement, but even more amazing is the new federal state of China, because the Chinese, you know, what they've told the elites and what the elites tell you is China's so chaotic. The Chinese people don't understand democracy. They don't understand the rule of law. They don't understand freedom. So we need to be tough. We need to have an authoritarian apparatus over top of them. And they fail to look at old Hong Kong. They fail to look at Taiwan or New Zealand or Canada or the United States or England or Western Europe, where the Chinese, once they get rule of law, once they get freedom of religion, they thrive. Where the Chinese people have had a belly full of it. In the new federal state today, in the National Day of China, which is the big celebration of the Chinese Communist Party taking over the country, they're throughout the world with a global protest, from New Zealand to Australia to Europe to Japan. We've got footage up there we're going to be playing in this segment. And now I want to bring in, they use nom de plumes because they're under pressure. Their families are totally under pressure from mainland China by the Chinese Communist Party and state security and the PLA. But I want to go to Barcelona and bring in 7G, his nom de jour. And 7G, can you tell us what is the new federal state trying to accomplish by having this massive global protest on what is the national day for the Chinese Communist Party, where they're really bragging about how they really control China and they took over China? Why have you guys selected October 1st to be the day that you really go out there and protest on a global basis?
Yeah. Dear Steve Bannon, I heard so much about you. You are so respected for the Chinese law basing. We are really appreciated all your great job for to save the Chinese people. Anyway, we chose the October 1st because, in fact, today actually is the in China is the traditional mid autumn day. Normally, Chinese people will get together with families to get together to have dinner or something to celebrate the mid autumn day. And also today is the Chinese communist regime governed China for 71 years. 71 years ago, the Chinese communist regime conquered China. Since that moment, the Chinese people lost the freedom, lost the rule of law, lost everything. We have no freedom at all. That's why we selected today as the day to demonstrate to the Chinese Communist Party to take down the CCP, to express our idea. The Chinese Communist Party is not equal to the Chinese people. To follow Brother Mao's goal. That's why we select today as the celebrate the date. Thank you.
7G, here's the question, the footage, and we're going to try to get up some of the movie footage here in a second. It just absolutely blew me away, from New Zealand to Japan to Barcelona. And you go in front of the consulates and you actually protest, and the crowds are amazing, marching streets. You've never really seen this. The Tiananmen Square movement really didn't catch on. These other movements that the Chinese try to do, this seems to be catching on a global basis. What is different? And I realize we had the Foundation Day on 4 June in front of the Statue of Liberty. Miles Rosenback of the whistleblower movement. He's one of the founders of it. You have Mr. Han, who's the Michael Jordan of Chinese soccer. But what has been different about this movement that it seems to be now a global movement, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Canada, or Europe? What makes this, the new federal state movement, different than other things that have tried to do this in the past?
Yes, sir. This movement, from my point of view, and also our friends of whistleblower movement, we all think this is the new China. The new federal state of China is 100% different from the Chinese communist regime. So we selected this. We selected the Barcelona General Consulate of the Chinese communist regime, and we didn't go to embassy in Madrid because of the CCP virus pandemic in Madrid is much more serious than Barcelona. So it's much more difficult for our whistleblowers friend come over from other European countries like Germany, France, Holland, Finland, etc. So that's why we select Barcelona General Consulate of Chinese Consulate, because of the pandemic in Madrid is much more serious and much more bad. That's why we. And also, from my point of view, I think all of our whistleblowers friends, we think the new federal state of China is totally different from the communist regime. We are really follow Brother Mao's goal for we have freedom. We follow Mao's idea since more than 3 years ago, and we know the Chinese communist regime, they did so much. The CCP did so much evil to suppress the freedom of Chinese people, and that's why we have to stand up to show our opinion. We don't agree that the CCP represents our Chinese people. 100% no. So we are the citizen of the new federal state of China, instead of the Chinese communist regime. Thank you.
7G, last thing, and we're getting the footage up now that you can see this just amazing global protest between all these different nations in the world. It's going to be going on. There's one in here in New York today. I'm actually going to try to speak at it if we can if we can work it out, because they're going to be. And here's the thing, people, the United States, you understand, these individuals go right in front of the consulates. All this footage you see on TV, or we're putting up now on Real American Voice, they're going right in front of the consulates and calling out the Chinese Communist Party, either the embassies or the consulates. 7G, last question I've got for you. How dangerous, we know with Dr. Yan and the defectors that come out of the labs, that their families are under constant scrutiny, arrest, all that. How dangerous is it for people in the new federal state, for the Chinese Communist Party to want to have retribution against you guys?
Thank you, sir. In fact, everybody, including myself, we have a fear deep inside our heart, because my families, a lot of our whistleblowers, friends, families still live in China. As long as the Chinese Communist Party is there, the regime is there, we can't. A lot of. I know a lot of our friends are very brave. They stand up to say no to the CCP, but the fact is the Chinese Communist Party is still there to rule the 1.4 billion Chinese people. So we are, even though we know this is very dangerous for me and also for my family, they can go to my family to ask to arrest, to give suppression, to arrest them, whatsoever. We know this is really hard for a lot of our friends from China, even though we are in this perfect country in Spain, with the rule of law, with freedom, democracy, but we are Chinese. We are from China. We have relatives in China, so we have fear. But for us, a lot of our whistleblowers friends, they told me, if they don't stand up to say no to the CCP, their children's grandchildren will not have a chance to live in the freedom of the world, with the rule of law. This is the last chance for us. That's why we all stand up to say no to the Chinese CCP regime, and to take down the CCP. Thank you, sir.
7G, just make sure you tell all your colleagues in Barcelona, and when you're online, tell all your colleagues worldwide. We try to every day as we talk to them, that you've got tremendous support here in the United States, not just War Room Pandemic, but I got to tell you, the deplorables, the outreach, and what we've heard from our audience on live stream and on Twitter is absolutely incredible. You people are really the new federal state, is, I think, showing the world what real bravery and courage is, and doing it in a peaceful manner. You're showing how to peacefully protest and not back down. So really, we're honored to have you on. We're honored to know you guys. So thank you very much for coming on, sir.
Thank you, sir, Steve Bannon. Thank you, sir. We really love you. On behalf of whistleblowers from China.
We got to go to a break here.
Thanks, 7G. Appreciate it.